back to Cosplay Stitch and Seam. I'm David.
And did I get to do this? And I am V-Fire.
Very nice. Panda will not be joining us. She is recovering from a surgery. We wish her the best of love and all the speedy care. If you would like to send love, you can go and visit our webs. Or does she do email first? She does email first?
She does email. I get
she
the
does
website.
Email first. You can visit our email, cosplaystitchandseam@gmail.com, or
you can visit our shiny website, cosplaystationseam.com, and fill out the forms on there. Or
you can go to our Facebook page, join our fantastic cosplay group that wants to see you grow and develop and to learn more about what new things you're learning about. If you're not a big fan of Facebook, we have a Discord. And if you want to support the show, we've got a Ko-fi, KOFI Cosplay Stitch, and we have a Patreon, patreon.com/Cosplay Stitch. I'm going to skip all of the fun banter stuff because I'm really excited today because we have a very special guest. We have Svetlana, aka Kamui from Kamui Cosplay. Welcome.
Hello, and thanks so much for having me here. I'm really excited.
We are super excited to have you with us today. Tell us first and foremost, where can people find you? Where can people find you online and see all of the great things that you get up to?
Okay, like in general, you just have to search for Kamui Cosplay, and I'm on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube, on Twitch, and on TikTok, and finally also my website is kamuicosplay.com, but the easiest way is just to Google Kamui Cosplay and you will find everything there.
You are very prolific, to say the least.
I mean, like, we're two people though, because Kamui Cosplay is like me and Benny, and like Benny does a lot of the social media part and like also the website and everything. But so far, it's only me here today. I hope that's okay. Benny is actually busy with doing taxes. Yes.
We appreciate Benny.
Yes,
I let him know.
No, it was really funny because I would see an email from you pop up, and then shortly after I would see a social media post around the same time and go, okay, well, I guess I know who's online now.
Yes. I mean, like, it's like German times, like, so It's like everything is a little bit shifted, like, to my US followers and everything. But yeah, we need some sleep as well.
Yeah. So I want to know, so you go by Kamui Cosplay. So like, where did you get that name from? Like, does it have a meaning, or like, it's such a cute and unique name.
Oh, thanks so much. That's actually a very old story. Like back then, like when just cosplay got started, like I actually started with cosplay in 2003. And I was not really that much fond of it. Like, I did it because everyone did it. Like, I wanted to attend basically my very first convention, and wanted to be like a proper convention attendee. So I made my very first costume, the Great Sireman, and basically it was like a very, I would say, crappy shiny satin costume. Didn't look that great. And but I mostly did it because like everyone else did it to go to a convention, dressing up and everything. And I kept on doing it. I did like a Moogle afterwards and a few other costumes, but it didn't really catch me, It didn't really catch me. And then I actually started playing World of Warcraft. And my very first character I created, and back then I was actually reading the manga X 1999, and the main character is actually called Kamui, is like a male character, but I really like the sound of his name. So I just used for my very first character, a night elf druid, the name Kamui. And I totally fell in love with playing WoW, like really WoW. It brought like the sparkle into my heart, I started crafting, I started making armor, I started making props back then with paper mache and EVA foam, not EVA foam, expanding foam and everything, like really cheap materials. But like I really I got into crafting from playing WoW. So I actually also started cosplaying my own WoW character, because I actually didn't got the armor in-game with my guild, because like everyone else got the armor, but I wasn't really lucky. So I was so frustrated that I just made my costumes, which I wanted to get in-game, as a cosplay. And so I mostly started cosplaying my night elf druid in WoW. So I thought, okay, when it was coming to actually get an account name back then for cosplay.com, by the way, way, old times. I thought
Wow.
I'm
Love
just
that.
using Kamui Cosplay as my artist name because everyone knew me back then for my druid costumes.
Wow.
Long story short. Or
I love that.
story long. Yeah.
So you were saying expanding foam, and that's actually one of the tutorials, because when I was doing my own Dungeons and Dragons character, I needed to figure out how to make a trident, and I came across one of your tutorials about expanding foam,
Oh my
and
God.
I used that, and this was probably like 2012, 2013.
I think like 2010. At least I think I uploaded the video like in 2010 or 2011.
Oh
It's like
man.
ages ago. Yes.
So like that was like a really cool, like, oh man, this is new ways to use materials. How did you decide to like what was the path of like, I'm making cosplays, now I want to do tutorials?
And to be honest with you, it was just I wanted to learn English. Yes, I was literally leaving school with almost like a grade F. Like I almost didn't made it through my exams, and I was really frustrated because the cosplay community speaks English. And when I visited my very first convention, it was actually like my very first international convention. It was BlizzCon 2009. I was incredibly frustrated because I didn't understand everyone. Like I already signed up for Cosplay Com, so I already followed some artists, some other artists followed me. And I finally met them now at BlizzCon, and they came to me. They said something, probably that they liked my work or anything, but I wasn't able to understand them. So I was so frustrated about that. I thought, okay, I will actually use cosplay to learn English. And so I started making my tutorials. And in addition to that, back then when I was in Cosplay Com, like I already uploaded some progress pictures of my own costumes, and every single day I got questions, and it was always the same questions. What is paper mache? What is expanding foam? How are you doing this? How are you doing that? It was so frustrating. And I mean, like I literally sit down every single day, like in the morning, and answered questions like for 30 minutes, 60 minutes, something like that. So I thought, hey, I should. Yeah, it was a lot of work, and I wasn't even able to answer all of them. So I thought like, hey, I maybe should start YouTube videos. So this way I can say, just check this out, you know? And since I knew like which questions I would get, I answered all those questions. This is my very first YouTube tutorials. I actually spoke German back then, added subtitles later in English, and then switched finally completely to English. But yeah, like actually just you know, like not being bothered with the same questions every single day and learning English were actually my main reasons for doing cosplay tutorials.
Wow.
Yes, and it actually helped. I think my English improved a little bit since then.
Yeah. I think you speak English better than most English speakers, myself included. So
no, I think you're doing great. It's like, I mean, I don't know. It's just every time I meet my friends, every time I go to the States, people tell me, "Oh, your English improved." Okay, I think so, but I can't really judge it, you know. But
sure,
it's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you do make a tutorial, English or German aside, is there like a thought process or kind of a map that you follow when you're like, okay, this is the thing that I'm going to make. This is how I'm going to make that tutorial. What's the thought process for you in that?
I just, like as mentioned, I just got a lot of questions for like often like very similar things, and so I basically just collect those questions over the time and then think, okay, it's time for a new YouTube video or like another tutorial. I mean, I started writing books, and like the thought process for my YouTube tutorial was basically just answering all the questions I got so far. But the process for my cosplay crafting books, for example, was actually that I was writing the books for my younger self. I wanted, yes, because, you know, like I think it's like, if you have no idea what you're doing and you struggle and then you get better, you're actually the best teacher, because you know what people, at least what you struggle with as well, you know,
Yeah.
like if you have an expert on something, I think the expert really has trouble like to explain something for beginners, because so many things are very clear for the expert, while for the beginner, like they have no idea what this person is talking about. So I was literally writing the books for my younger self, and like answered all the question, and like also like helped with all the struggles I had back then, years and years ago, basically.
Wow.
I love all of that. As someone who like I teach kids how to code at an after school program, I love seeing that. It's like, okay, now it's like, what did past me want to know, and how can I teach that to present newbies?
Yeah,
And I love that.
I really encountered this with the LED book which I wrote. I mean, I wrote too, and actually, I bought actually a kid's book which is called like The Little Engineer. I think it's supposed to be like for 5-6 years old kids.
That's so
I was
cute.
reading it, and I was thinking it's still too difficult to explain. Like yes, and you know, like, so I tried to make it like really, really, really simple, and now I'm actually getting constantly messages like from moms with their young girls, and saying they actually gave them the LED book as a present. I got already like messages really like from 6 years kids, 6 years old kids, like, and like their parents telling me that I helped them to get into electronics, and I'm really, really proud of that, because especially this book was really challenging, you know, like explaining a very difficult like and technical thing to a way that like, especially that people are not scared of. I think like the scary part is like, it's the most challenging thing to get rid of, you know, like you have to like, you have to wake interest, you know, like you have to make people excited for something really boring, you know, and this is like really difficult, and like just take the fear away. So I'm really proud of like that, especially the LED books are so popular within the community.
Your books have helped so many people. I've got them.
Oh, thank you so much.
They are fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So, what would be one bit of advice that you would give, like the biggest piece of advice that you would give a new cosplayer that wants to make their own tutorials right now?
I mean, like, if you're a new cosplayer, you probably won't make tutorials. You much more likely will actually follow tutorials, and you will fail, and you will cry, and you will roll on the ground, and you will fail again. And I think the most important part is like really to understand like that failing is actually part of the process. It's like part of the adventure. And like for me personally, projects where I absolutely have no idea what I'm doing, those are like the most exciting ones, because like they actually teach me something new, you know, like they show me something new. They're actually exciting because I have to experiment. And I think if you would actually do a costume and wouldn't have like any struggles at all, it would be really boring. And if you actually are a cosplay beginner and just want to make tutorials, and it's really great. I think like the cosplay community has like kind of a hive mind where like, you know, like the whole cosplay community grows as its own over the years, which is really fascinating, especially if you see like cosplay newcomers these days. It's crazy what they make as their very first costume. And I think like if you're a cosplay beginner and want to make tutorials, just take photos and videos of almost everything. Like when I got started, my biggest mistake was that I just completely forgot to take like any photos, to do like any footage or anything. And right now, like, I mean, I'm using tutorials like which I did like 10, sometimes 15 years ago. I use them like for my books. I use them for YouTube videos, especially if you want to get into social media. Like this is all content that will help you a lot. Just take photos, take videos, even you don't know what you're doing with it, but just do it.
Nice.
Yeah, I love that.
And get a good camera. It's a good camera and make sure you have good light. But yeah.
I also love your comment on like it's okay to fail, like experiment and all that. So I've also done game development stuff, and the mantra in that is fail fast, fail often. And I apply that to cosplay too. Where it's like, well, that didn't work, so I'll try a different way, and it's okay to do that multiple times.
Oh, totally. I mean, especially like with cosplay, like if you're actually into crafting, and I mean, like I'm also a cosplay judge at plenty of conventions. Like as a cosplay judge, I'm searching for plenty of masteries, you know, like and like I think failing is actually the only way to learn plenty of new skills, to experiment with plenty of new techniques and just get better over the time. I think like if you're good at sewing, that's already awesome. But if you also get into armor making, get into electronics, wig styling and everything, that's even better. And like for me personally, like failing, even though it's painful, is actually the most exciting part, because the only reason why I'm where I am is because I literally was failing now for almost 20 years, 19 years this year. Yeah. I was failing for 19 years and I still am.
I love that mentality. I'm still failing, but you're not stopping. That's
fantastic. Yeah,
fantastic.
that's the most important part. Like failing is part of the adventure, but just keep on going, you know, like keep on trying, don't give up. Just accept that it's a part of the process and that it will actually bring you forward and like teach you new things. And if you wouldn't fail, you wouldn't learn anything, you know? Yeah.
So with all of the failures and whatnot, and I think one of the big failures is kind of like not realizing how useful a tool can be, right? Like you're like, oh man, this would have saved me hours, days even of time. Do you have like a go-to tool that's like, this is a must? I should have had this sooner.
Yes, the airbrush.
The airbrush.
I think we got an airbrush like only 7 years ago or something like that. And I mean, I always thought that like an airbrush is actually a very expensive tool, a very fancy tool, a very hard to handle tool. But I think like my very first airbrush was like 150 euros or something like that. And you can get now airbrushes like for 80 euros, 400. And they're actually really affordable. You can ask them for like as a birthday present, as a Christmas present. And like it speeds up work so much. It saves so much time. And like especially an airbrush is not just good like for simple painting. It's also great like for example for weathering, like if you want to weather your fabric, like your clothing, anything. It's like I'm actually using my airbrush also to clean my statues, you know, like just with the air pressure. Yes, you know, and it's an absolutely amazing tool. Like it saved us so much time. You can create great effects with airbrush. You can also do like body painting with airbrush, and like it's absolutely amazing. Highly recommend to get it, like everyone. Yeah, it's amazing.
So here's my dumb fear. So I have an airbrush, but I have never used it because I'm scared of it. And the dumb fear is is cleaning it really hard. And like that's the dumb thing that I've been hung up on is like I'm afraid of cleaning it and like messing it up.
Penny does the cleaning though. Like I'm doing the cleaning, but I want sure that it's like really, really clean, because like if you don't clean it, like the paint might dry out and actually clog within the airbrush. And then you might need to get like a new pistol, which would be really frustrating. And what Benny is really doing, like when you're completely done with your painting and everything, just take the whole pistol apart, clean everything properly, let it dry, and then next time we just put it together. But like cleaning is really important. Like I heard already from so many people was that I had to get a new airbrush pistol because I didn't clean it properly. So once you're using your airbrush the very first time, clean it afterwards. Really good. Take it apart. And then it's clean. And then it's good. But it's a really great machine. It's like, I love it.
Oh, sweet.
I did get one for my birthday last year, and I used it on a cosplay, and it was invaluable. It is, I will say, it is a little intimidating the first time you take it apart to clean it all. But once you get the hang of it, and once you know what you're doing, it speeds up so much work. And I'm colorblind, so I have such a hard time with like gradients and making things like two-toned, but I can just know that like mathematically, if I put less pressure here, I get more color here and there, and like it blends so much easier. Yeah, so worth it. I can't agree more.
Yeah, but like, to be honest, the intimidating part, isn't every new tool intimidating? At least
Oh,
I never
yes.
got a
Yeah.
tool that wasn't intimidating at the beginning. Like even the scissors, you know, like
Oh
when
my
you're a
gosh.
tiny cosplay crafty baby and then you get like a gigantic scissors, like, oh my God, what am I doing? And I think
Getting
every
your
tool is
first pair of
intimidating.
getting your
Yeah.
first pair of fabric scissors, you're like, oh no, what if I accidentally cut with these with cut paper?
Yes, right. I ruined already so many fabric scissors. So. Yeah, but like part of the adventure, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You have
Yes.
to fail to learn it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be brave and I'm gonna try my airbrush.
Just do it. Just do it. I'm also really bad at airbrushing, but I think like it's like with everything. It's like all a question of practice. And just start with it, and then you will be good at some point. Just like everyone with everything. It's just always a question of time, because you know, like I'm getting like so many people telling me, oh, I can cosplay because I'm not talented, because I'm not skilled. But cosplay is like really just you know, like failing a lot, having a lot of patience, not trying, not giving up, keep on trying, and just time. It's just all time. But yeah.
You mentioned earlier about like the cosplay community kind of grows and whatnot. What's an important thing for you when it comes to like the cosplay community? Like how do you see it, and how do you want it to like grow and change?
I think it's really fascinating, because since I'm like in a cosplay community for such a long time now, since 2003, I think it's like really interesting to see like how materials go like up and down, you know, like because when I remember when I started in 2003, EVA foam was kind of popular in the US, but it was supposed to be the cheap material, and I think everyone worked with Sintra back then. Then there was a phase where everyone worked with leather. I saw a lot of leather costumes. Then Wonderflex started. Then Wobbler came. And now we are in the age of EVA foam. And I'm really excited what's coming next. And I think it's just really interesting, because like I said, I think like the general cosplay knowledge of like the hive mind, the community hive mind, is growing every single year, like with every single tutorial, with every single guide, with every single progress photo, and it's absolutely fascinating. Also, I think it's especially interesting that the cosplay community is now more, especially with COVID, I think now more focused and like on board costumes. And back then, like when I got into cosplay, like even finding a good wig was really challenging, and or you know, like or finding like good materials. Like I struggled so much finding any good EVA foam. I bought it in Amazon back then. It was awful, and it was so difficult. I also remember when I ordered my very first Wonderflex back then. I think like most people who listen now to the podcast don't even know what it is, but it's a thermoplastic material from the US. It's something similar with Wobbler, which was basically before Wobbler. And I literally ordered the material completely blind from a shop in the US. I had no idea what to do with it. I just like, my only information was that people were doing armor with it. That was it. There were like no progress pictures, no tutorials, nothing back then. And I ordered it, and I think I paid like $150 on shipping plus customs. It was insane. Like I think like a sheet cost like $40 back then, and at the end I paid actually twice as much with customs and shipping. It was ridiculous, but I did it like completely blind, you know. And like now when you're actually getting into cosplay, there are now so many tutorials, so many resources, so many people will literally take you by the hand and show you everything. You can buy completely finished and absolutely amazing costumes. And I think it's also now really interesting to see that like at the same time, people are really intimidated to get into crafting, because you see like these really, really experienced crafters who are doing it like for 10, 20 years. And you also have crafting beginners who are getting into cosplay, and like the very first costume is already instantly amazing because they did their homework, they did their research, they checked all the things they could find on the internet. And at the same time, you also have cosplayers who just buy their costumes, who cosplay maybe for years and never ever sewn a costume, don't even have a sewing machine. And then like the very first crafting thing is like maybe a vision from Genshin Impact, like a little accessory. And this is how they are getting into cosplay. So it's like really interesting how the cosplay community is changing over the time, how like materials go up and down, you know, but also in general, like how just the knowledge of the community is just growing and expanding. And like beginners are getting better and better with the very first costume. That's so impressive.
I have to say, I love Germany. So I took many years of German in high school and college. I've never had a chance to practice it, so I'm terrible at actually speaking it. And like went to Germany as a teenager for a week and absolutely loved it. So our podcast focuses a lot on like the United States and like cosplay culture over here. But like, what is the cosplay scene like in Germany? I've always been like super curious about that.
Yeah.
And, like, how big is it there? Like, do you guys have gatherings? What kind of conventions do you have? I want to know everything.
Germany has a really big cosplay community, and I think the most different part is because I know the cosplay community in the US grow like from Star Wars, Star Trek, you know, like from from the whole fantasy things, like from Halloween, for example, and especially from comics, from superheroes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
in Germany, it's like very different because our cosplay community actually grew from anime and manga. And so when I got into cosplay, like my very first costume was a Great Saiyaman from Dragon Ball Z. I watched Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon, Pokemon and everything. And like so many of cosplayers also got like into cosplay with anime and manga. And like, to be honest, with you also like this, why we have superhero cosplays here as well, is like the mentality is just, very patriotic, you know, like just being a superhero is just a very patriotic idea. And like Germany is like everything except being patriotic. So
Yep.
it is, you know. So this is why like the scene is actually more focused into video games and anime and manga and far less into comics. And also one very German mindset is actually make it proper or don't even try it.
Whoa.
Yes, it is. It is like, it's very intimidating for many cosplayers, you know, like so many cosplayers, like, as I said, like they see a thing, they have an idea and they say, I can't make it perfect, so I won't even try it at all. And also like the cosplay community, I mean, there, especially like the younger cosplayers, they take it far less serious, but like especially the older generation. And when I grew up with the cosplay community, it was like very, very strict, very into like perfectionism, you know, make everything proper, everything perfect. And the thing is like the level of craftsmanship in the cosplay contests here are really high. In general, like in Europe, very, very high. And I judged already at the Nordic Cosplay Championship, for example, at European Cosplay Gathering, I think at Euro Cosplay as well. Like I judged some of the really big costume competitions. And like the competition was really, really high and the craftsmanship was like very intense. And, but I miss a little bit of the fun sometimes you have in the US, you know, like, because, for example, like original characters, like, own crazy ideas, like, you know, like Ronald McDonald, Darth Vader, Hello Kitty, Darth Vader, yeah. Like, you know, like stuff like that. It's just not happening in Germany because it's not, I mean, it happens probably, but like, far less, you know. People would just want like to cosplay proper. And for example, this is also how I got into cosplay. You know, I wanted to go to my very first convention in 2003 and wanted to be a proper attendee. So I made my very first costume. I didn't make it for fun. I just wanted to be a proper attendee, you know? And so it's like, it's a very different mindset. And I think also like people in the States, they just have more fun because of Halloween, you know, like you basically grow up with dressing up, and everyone thinks it's like really cool no matter the age, you know, like, and it's like really, really amazing because, for example, I was once at Dragon Con. It was an absolutely amazing experience to see like people like from every single background, every age, like every body shape, like just everyone dressed up there, you know, like even your 90-year-old granddad dressed up. While like this wouldn't be totally not a thing in Germany. Like the cosplay community is like much younger, you know. It's more like for the younger people, and especially when people also dress like grow up here, like they got a job, they got a family, and like it's a little bit sad because like many of them actually stop with cosplay because it's like more for the younger kids. So I feel like a little bit old here with my 36 years now and still cosplaying, still didn't grow up. But yeah, it's very different, and it's very interesting to actually visit both communities. And I'm sorry for my very long question, but I think the biggest event is Dokumi in Düsseldorf. Then we also have Konichi and not so many Comic Cons. But basically, if you want to meet all your friends coming from Europe, go to Dokumi.
Yes. Wonderful. There's no apology necessary. We got to learn so much.
I asked for everything, so
yeah, she did. So, like,
I tried to answer everything.
You did great. Mm-hmm. You did great. Oh man. Wow, that's so fascinating to learn. Like, because, you know, I think everybody has that mentality of like, okay, well, now I'm an adult. Now I have to do the adult responsible thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to, you know, waste my money. You know, I was raised to believe that there should be a 9-to-5 job, and then I have 2 kids and a dog and a white picket fence. And so it's always like encouraging whenever I see people who have been doing this for a long time. And it's like, well, if you do the math, we're older now, right?
Yeah.
So we can kind of figure out we're the adults that want to like continue doing what makes us happy. And it's just one of those great things when we get to watch like someone like you or, you know, Pannon, who's also been doing this for 20 years. I've been doing this for not even 10. And we just kind of like, no, I don't want the 9-to-5. I want to have fun, right?
Yeah. I mean, I turned it though in a job though. So it's kind of adult now, but like as said, Benny is doing the taxes. I'm doing the fun part. Yeah.
We'll have to get Benny on next time then, so that way you can do the taxes and then Benny
can.
No.
Please not.
When you think about like teaching yourself a younger self, is there like a moment that you've had when you're like, I wish I had known this, or someone had given you a piece of advice that was that changed a lot of how you thought about cosplay?
Yes, I would say don't give a shit. Like, no, like literally, like I hope that's okay to say it.
You're
here.
fine. Yeah,
okay.
We love it.
Yes.
But like really, this was like my biggest thing I learned, and I think also the biggest thing I learned for my whole life, because you know, like I was growing up and like I had a mom who always said, don't speak so loud. What shall the neighbors think about you? And you know, like, you can't dress like that. You can't do this. Or you can do that. Like, what shall the other people think about you? And you know, like I also started with cosplay like that. I thought like, okay, like is my costume good enough for others? Will I disappoint anyone if I don't finish something in time? Will I disappoint anyone if I just keep posting old stuff? You know, is like, is anyone expecting something from you? Like you always compare yourself to others. You always think, okay, I'm not good enough, and like I'm already almost doing it for 20 years, you know, but like the only one who probably I know I'm not good enough is like Benny. Was constantly complaining, you should do this, you should do that, whatever. But I know that he's doing it only because he loves me and he knows that I could do better, you know. But like I was constantly doubting myself that like I'm not good enough, I'm not posting enough, my costumes are not interesting enough, and like especially since I'm actually, you know, like cosplay is my income, you know, I turned my hobby into a business. So like being being successful, being good enough for the audience is literally a key to pay my bills,
Yeah,
and
fair.
I mean, it is.
Yeah.
And like I was really doubting myself for many, many years, and like this is why I pushed myself like really to the limit, where like where I did things I was not comfortable with. I did even things I didn't fully enjoy because I always thought, oh, what should others think? But now that I'm 36 and I grew up and I got older and wiser, I actually noticed that whatever, don't give a shit. Like, you're doing it for yourself. I'm like, even though this is my job, it's like my most important part is like that I have fun. I will never do anything anymore that I don't fully enjoy. I don't care what other things. Like Vinny sometimes says like, maybe we should like do a popular costume, you're always doing like things people have no idea what I'm doing. And like, but I don't care. I completely don't care if I'm doing like a popular character. I completely don't care if like what I post is interesting. I completely don't care what other people think. And this is like, this is so relieving, like this is so good for your mindset. It basically sets yourself free and just sets your creativity free, that you finally can do what you want, what brings you fun, what brings you joy. So if I would go back in time, I would tell my younger self, don't give shit. So
love it. That's so good. That's beautiful. Yeah. Bravo.
Oh, that's so perfect. I'm like sitting here and I'm like, I needed that advice right now.
You will surely learn it once you get older. I think like everyone will learn it at some point. It's just a question when, and like it's a question how long you will struggle until then.
Yeah,
how much you will struggle. Yeah.
That's I think you show that like you want to make cosplays. I think about your video series when you were doing your Overwatch Diablo mashup character. It's like nobody is asking for this in a sense, right? This is some fan art that you saw that you liked and you wanted to do. And I think by showing that alone gives that mentality of like, I'm doing what I want to do for fun.
Yeah,
and I love that.
It's also very basic things. For example, like as mentioned, I'm a little bit active on social media and I hate it to put makeup on. I hate it to the ground. And for a very long time, I didn't like to show myself on social media so much, didn't really like to do selfies because I always felt bad not putting makeup on, but I hated to put makeup on. So I just didn't show my face. And at some point, I just stopped caring about it. And now I got like so many comments from people saying, oh, you look so tired, or you look so sick, or whatever. And just I'm telling those people, this is like how real people look like. Maybe you should just leave social media and maybe check out how real people without makeup and filters actually look in reality. But I cared like for such a long time about just that I didn't wear makeup and I felt like I'm not looking good enough, And now I just don't care. I just don't care. And like, it helps me so much because I post now much more. I just have much more fun to show my work and everything, and I just completely don't care. And like, if someone is writing something like that, I comment it, like I answer that. And then it's like tiny little bit of shitstorm, tiny little bit. I think those people have to learn it,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Go ahead, Mercedes.
Oh, I was just enjoying that. I don't have anything extra to say to add on top of that. I just love it.
Yeah, I think every woman experiences at some point, like you always like you look in the mirror, like always think like, are you like, do you look good enough? Like, do you have like the right shape? Are you too thin? Are you too thick? Are you old? Are you young enough? Like, is your hair okay? Is your makeup okay? Like the only thing that really matters is that you're happy and like that you enjoy what you do. Yeah.
It sounds exhausting to have to put up with that. It is,
especially on social media, especially with a big following. And to be honest, what's more exhausting, and I have no idea how people are doing it, applying makeup every single day. No idea.
Oh man. So we won't take up too much more of your time, but we do like to end every episode with a cosplay horror story or a happy story. Do you have one that you would like to share?
I actually have both. If that's okay. I have
We
both.
would love it.
Okay, so I start with a cosplay happy story because it happened in 2009, so it's like, and the horror story was actually in 2013. So my very first international convention, which I mentioned, was actually BlizzCon back in 2009. And back then I won a trip to BlizzCon, sponsored by Blizzard, which was really cool. And back then the Blizzard costume competition in Europe was actually a tiny little online contest where you're supposed to just upload some photos. And as mentioned, I did quite a few WoW costumes until then. I just uploaded all of them. All of them. And I think like nobody heard about the contest. It was like an instant win. You know, like
wow.
they had like to choose, okay, are we going to use to choose Kamui or Kamui or Kamui or Kamui? Because I think I uploaded like 10 costumes from WoW or something like that. I don't know which one won, but I won a trip to BlizzCon. And the funny part was, though, like I said, this was my very first international convention. My English was really bad. I didn't understand anyone. And it was really just a trip for BlizzCon, just those 2 days. So I was actually arriving at, BlizzCon is at Friday, it's Saturday, and I arrived at 10 p.m. I was at 10 p.m. at first day. And I was completely jet-lagged and everything. And I surely brought my biggest costume, which required like body painting and everything. So when we were at the hotel and checked in, it was already 1 a.m. I had to get up again. Maybe it's a cosplay horror story. I remember it very positive though. But yeah, I went to bed at 1 a.m., woke up again at 5 a.m. applied like all my body painting and everything. Took me several hours, and I signed up for the dance competition and the costume competition. The costume competition was at 6 p.m. and the dance competition was at 9 p.m. I barely got any sleep, and since I couldn't go to the restroom, I got like one of these really tiny energy drink shots. I think they're actually forbidden in Germany, but it was just like nipping drop by drop every hour just to stay awake. I didn't drink anything. I didn't eat anything. I didn't went to the restroom. Didn't recommend it to anyone, but I think everyone will make this experience at some point. And I did in 2009. So actually, I made it to the costume competition. I just participated for fun though, because like back then only Americans could participate. And I made it to the dance contest. The thing though is that I had a blackout. I don't remember anything. I don't remember that I was dancing. Like the only proof that I was actually on stage is that like someone filmed it and there's a YouTube video proving that I was on stage still at 9 or 10 p.m. or something like that. And I somehow went back to the hotel. Somehow I got rid of my cream makeup back then. Like cream makeup is like you actually need like a lot of soap and like a really rough brush, rough like thingy to get rid of it. Like my whole skin was completely red the next day. I played like so much powder and makeup, so I'm not completely red, because the next day I went actually casual. And yeah, I don't remember this evening. I had a completely blackout. I had no idea what happened, but it was a good experience. And I also remember like this was the very first time I had this experience that like since BlizzCon had so less cosplayers back then, everyone wanted to take a cosplay photo with someone like as an achievement. And so I remember like someone asked me for a photo. Benny translated it because I didn't even understand this sentence. Can I take a photo with you? And like someone came over to me and like put his arm around me. And like Germany is a very non-touchy country. You know? Like no kissy, no touchy, you know. And like I said, wow, what's going on? What the and like so I asked me, okay, what shall I say that they don't touch me? And like then don't touch me. And I was just shouting the whole day at BlizzCon, don't touch me, don't touch me, don't touch me. And like people, like the moment I stopped, people actually made a line to take a photo with me because there were so many cosplayers. Like, oh my god, what's going on? What's going on in this crazy country? And like this was my very first experience. In this case, and like back, like I think at Sunday or Monday, we already flew back. It was like crazy. But this was actually the experience where I thought, okay, it's time to learn English, because I didn't understand anyone. It was very awkward.
It sounds like for a lot of people that'd be like, nah, I'm done, never again.
Is this a horror story or a happy story? Because I have it actually as a very positive memory, you know.
So what? I fear to ask, what's the horror story then?
Okay, the horror story. The horror story is it's actually one. I don't really do commissions, and I don't do commissions because of this horror story. Okay. So it was after my study. I actually I thought about I want to become like self-employed, and but it didn't really work out. And I took a job as a social media content creator, blah blah blah, at the agency. And but like in my very first days, I actually got a commission request from Newegg. I think, like, you know, this shop.
Oh yeah,
it's like Amazon for electronics or something like that, and they wanted to have a booth at BlizzCon and dress up 2 of their employees in Blizzard-related costumes. They surely asked far too late, and they wanted to have 2 costumes, 2 full armor sets, with far too less time, and I had a full-time job with 40 hours a week. And I felt like, okay, I either cancel my job, which was really badly paid because it was basically just a traineeship, or I'm doing those both commissions. And like Benny supported me and said, hey, cancel the job, we will make it. And I canceled my job after just 7 days. And this was actually my only full-time work experience in my whole life, 7 days. And and then I actually became self-employed by doing these commissions. And so we really sat down and like crafted like crazy. Like I think like I work like 12 or 14 hours every single day just to finish both costumes. And the thing is, I got only like the measurements and like the photos of those both girls, and like I never made any commissions. I was like, as I'm with every single project, I have no idea what I'm doing. I just hope it will work out. The only problem was though that I had a contract and I was paid for it, so it should work out. And I was like so crazy, and like I had so less time that like the day before our flight, the night before our flight, I was working with Wobbler back then, and Wobbler is a thermoplastic material which can be shaped by heat. And I completely finished both costumes, just like the leg armor of one thing was a little bit not in the right shape, you know. It was already completely painted, completely done, everything. And I thought, okay, I heated up very carefully in the oven, and at 2 a.m. put it in the oven very carefully for a very short time, and will shape it. And I didn't got any sleep for, I don't know, like but end of the story is I forgot it. It completely melted. It was already completely done, completely painted, like the whole leg armor. And it was 2 a.m. in the morning, and we actually had to leave at 7 a.m. to the airport. And like, yes. I was like, oh my God. Like I saw the thing in the oven and I started crying. Like I think I never cried so much in my life. I was just sitting there and crying, and Benny tried to calm me down. And like, I was melting while the thing was melting in the oven as well. Like I was so done. But like Benny really helped me. I tried to get my shit together. I literally ripped this thing apart again because I didn't have any patterns for it. And the only patterns were actually inside, which were like the craft foam inside. So I had to rip apart the whole leg armor, transfer it again, completely start over. I was still crying while crafting. I was so crying. Like whipping and crying, like, oh my God, I have to finish it.
Oh no.
Oh, but we made it. Like Benny and I, like Benny did the paint job, I did the crafting. We literally made it. Like this was absolutely horrible night. We made it. We delivered the costumes. They fit somehow. Well, like after that, I said I will never do any commissions again. Actually, I made another commission. It was a more horrible horror story, but like this is one other podcast. I tried it again. It was even more awful. But I'm not doing any commissions since then. So yeah. Yes,
Wow.
and I have a lot of respect for everyone who is doing commissions. Like, holy crap. Because I get like so many commission requests, and like so many of them are literally, hey, can you please make a Monster Hunter armor like by next week? I was like,
You're like, no.
yeah, we have a lot of money. I was like, no, please go away. No. Yeah. But yeah.
Wow. Well, Svetlana, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find you in general? Again, or anything that you want to promote?
Just Kamui Cosplay. Just Google for Kamui Cosplay. I have now written 16 books. I have plenty of patterns for armor making, for helmets, for bracers, helmets. I mentioned helmets, horns, like everything. I have crafting patterns, crafting books on kamuicosplay.com. And other than that, if you want to follow me, I'm under Kamui Cosplay on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter. Yes, yeah. But thank you very much for the lovely interview. It was intense.
We've been so happy to have you on here. I've been totally following your Captain Bido progress pictures.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, I bought that cosplay. That's my first one that I ever bought.
I'm working on it. I was literally cutting fabric before I started.
Wow,
with, like,
sneak peek.
Oh.
Wow.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
that made me
it's
so
amazing.
happy.
Yeah, it's actually a official collaboration with MiHoYo, Hoyoverse. Like, it's not intimidating at all. But luckily, I'm doing this costume now for myself and not for anyone else.
Good. Oh,
At least
good.
that. Yes, but I have
cool.
no idea what I'm doing. Like, I literally have no idea what I'm doing. And I know that, like, I have a deadline. And I know I will fail so much until then. And I know that I will redo many, many things. And it will be all chaotic. But I'm confident that I will make it. This is like the only thing, because I have to make it. But yeah, but I think it's like part of it, part of cosplay. Just have fun. It's okay if you have no idea what you're doing, but just enjoy the whole learning process and like the adventure.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Beautiful.
Kamui, you have like reignited my creative flame like so much today. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to hear that.
Oh, goodness.
What do you want to make? What do you want to make? Can I ask? Is it a spoiler?
It's not a spoiler. I've got like 5 projects that I've been sitting on the back burner. So.
Oh my god. Okay, then good luck with all of them then.
Thank you.
Yes. It's better to have too many projects than too less.
Yes.
This
Yes,
is
indeed.
true.
All right. Well, we will get you back to your day. Real quick, Mercedes, where can they reach out to us if they want to tell us their thoughts, their opinions, anything along those lines?
You guys can send us your cosplay happy or horror stories to cosplaystitchandseam@gmail.com, or you can go to our website where we have our form where you can fill out there with your stories, or send us just a simple hello. Or David.
Or you can go to our Facebook page and join our fantastic community, the community that wants to see you grow, see you change, and help you. And like Kamui said, it is a hive mind, so it is always growing, it is always changing. And we also have a Discord. If you're not a big fan, there's a permalink on our website, so you can join our Discord, and we have a whole channel dedicated to cosplay horror stories. We would love to see what you guys are working on. And while you're on the internet, if you want to help out the show, tell a friend, leave a review, go to our coffee if you have a few bucks, go to our Patreon. We really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for your time. Hey, Mercedes, I don't know if you saw, but Anime Expo was going on this past weekend. And I've been looking at some of the pictures, and I saw this picture of just this like young kid, maybe like 5-6 years old, dressed as Doctor Strange.
Aww.
I thought it was a little strange.
Oh.
Bye.